Hello everybody, and welcome back to One Nerd to Rule Them All. And in today's video, we will be returning to the Witcher universe as we look into the old keep of the School of the Wolf, Kaer Morhen. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Kaer Morhen is an old keep where witches of the School of the Wolf used to be trained. It is located in the Blue Mountains of Hartuk in the Kingdom of Cadwen, right off the Gwenlook River. The castle can only be reached by the Witcher's Trail, nicknamed the Killer, which is easy to miss and encircles the keep. While trials and changes are no longer performed there, witches still tend to rest here between their assignments, usually during the winter months, after which they set out on the path once again. The keep's name is a nod to an ancient sea in the area, indicated by the presence of fossilized sea creatures embedded in the stones on which it was built. Oxenford Academy scholars speculate in the place where the current keep stands, there was originally an ancient elvish defence structure. The Circle of Whispering Stones was likely erected during that era also. By the time the Nordlings erected the modern castle, in the second half of the 11th century, the Wolf School witches had already been present in the caves of Kaer Morhen Valley. Human inhabitants eventually left the keep, and it became the seat of the Wolf Witches. The keep and the bastion, encircled by the Killer, were the primary training areas for young wolves. In the laboratorium beneath the castle resided renegade mages and druids who performed the trials and changes which transformed boys into witches. The men of Kaer Morhen rarely had anything to do with the Cadwardian locals, maintaining a delicate balance that neither wished to disrupt. As one could not find the fortress without the knowledge of the treacherous trail, it used to remain on the outskirts of history books. Legends claim that it is in Kaer Morhen where young Esril Tyson and his wife Agnes of Adarine hid from King Vindemont's wrath in 1160s. The dwindling number of monsters, together with the vile acts committed allegedly by witches and reported in Monstorium, or depiction of the Witcher pamphlet, resulted in anti-Witcher sentiment growing amongst the Cadwardian population. Because of this, in 1194, a mob of peasants led by opportunistic mages stormed Kaer Morhen, massacring everybody inside. This included 23 witches, 40 students including children, and the renegade mages who oversaw the mutation progress. Only those members of the Wolf School who remained outside the castle survived. The riot was officially condemned as an isolated incident, with some of the attackers even expressing regret. While their numbers were greatly reduced, witches continued to run the school. Rennies took the mantle of the Grand Master, after Barmin and Vesemir replaced Varin as the fencing instructor. As many of the mages perished during the riot, the mutation progress was even harsher. Some boys were subjected to additional experiments, most of which were fatal. During one such experiment, all subjects, save for Geralt of Rivia, died. Finally, the chain of witch reproduction snapped when the last wizard capable of performing the trials and changes died or vanished, marking late 1230s or early 1240s as the last time when young witches practiced at the Killer. One of the youngest fully trained wolves was Lambert. The end of training did not mark the end of Kaer Morhen. While new adepts were no longer, and the keep was a ruin of its former self, adult witches still arrived here to spend winters with their comrades. Eskel's surprised child, Deirdre Adamin, took refuge in the fortress to hide from her brother Merwin's men. In 1264, Geralt brought the orphaned Ciri to Kaer Morhen, where she met Lambert, Eskel and Vesemir, who were staying there for the winter, as well as Cohen, a visitor from the School of the Griffin. By that year, Vesemir was considered to be the only witcher left from the previous generation of the wolves. As Ciri manifested unnatural powers, for the next year's winter, the witches invited Triss Merigold to watch over the girl. While Triss initially suspected the witches wanted her to mutate Ciri, it turned out they were just afraid of the girl's magical abilities. As Triss feared she was unable to control Ciri, she convinced Geralt and others to put the young witcheress to a care of a more experienced sorceress, Thus, in the spring of 1266, Geralt, Triss and Ciri left for the temple in Elandir, where Ciri was eventually tutored by Yennefer of Vengerberg. In 1270, Triss and the remaining witches were training Leo, a new student whom Vesemir took after Geralt's supposed death during the Riverian riot 2 years prior. One night, the miraculously alive Geralt was found near the fortress, fallen unconscious after escaping an unknown foe. Soon after Geralt regained consciousness, the castle came under attack by a criminal organisation, the Salamandra, and the school's closely guarded herbs that were once used for the trials of the grasses was stolen, and Leo was killed. After Leo was buried just outside Kaer Morhen, the witches, aided by Triss, left in different directions to learn more about their attackers and to recover the ingredients. 2 years later, the witches once more met here upon learning that Ciri was back after being chased by the Wild Hunt. Yennefer arrived before Geralt to begin preparations, as she wished to use the first part of the Trial of Grasses on Uma, an odd creature that was their only link to learning what happened to Ciri. After a successful transformation, Geralt headed out and soon brought Ciri back, but with the Wild Hunt right on their tail. During the Battle of Kaer Morhen, the group tried various tactics to defend their home, but were eventually overpowered, resulting in Vesemir's death, until Ciri's Elder Blood activated, threatening to destroy not just the Wild Hunt members, but the entire fortress along with it. However, a weakened Alvek was able to stop her. The remaining allies then held a funeral pyre for Vesemir, before the witches decided to go their separate ways, leaving Kaer Morhen behind. This brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then please feel free to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future content like this. In the description down below, you will find 2 links. The first to my partner Rothmer's channel, so if you enjoy MMOs and action RPGs or things of that nature, then check that out. And if you enjoy all things Warhammer, then might I suggest checking out the second link to our joint YouTube channel, where myself and Rothmer build, paint and battle Warhammer figures against each other. Anyway, that'll be it from me. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are in the world. And as always, bye for now.